Getting unique records with distinct. With the queries we have written so far, we look at data in a table and filter the records based on some criteria. Sometimes we can end up with results that look like they have duplicate records, but you might want to see a unique list or remove the duplicates. This happens because the database doesn't know that you only want unique values. For example, let's say you're looking for all the different last names in a table. If you just select the last name column, you'll get all the last name values. But if there are two people with the same last name, you'll get two rows with this last name. They relate to two different records, so Oracle shows them both, but you might only want to see it once. So how do we do that? We use the distinct keyword. The distinct keyword is used in select queries. It goes right after the select keyword and before the columns. It allows us to get unique values. It says, remove the duplicates from the results and then show the results to me. One important thing to remember is that the distinct keyword doesn't remove duplicate values from a column. It removes duplicate records from your results. Let's see an example of this. Let's select all of the last names in the employee table by running this query here. Now, if we look closely at this data, we can see there are several results for the same last name, such as Foster. We should be able to find another record in this list with the name of Foster, as you can see here. And why is this? Let's change our query to see the first name as well. You can see that those identical last name values match to first name values of Michelle and Matthew. This means that they are different records, even though they had the same last name. Now, let's say we wanted to see the unique last names to see what values we had in our table. We would use the keyword distinct. Now, as we mentioned, the distinct keyword comes after the word select, but before the column names. So now let's run this query. We will then see that the Foster only appears once, as well as all the other records. They will all only appear once. You can see there are 140 records showing now, instead of the 200 that are originally in the table. What if we wanted to see multiple values? Let's show the last name and the department ID. If we keep scrolling down to show all the records, we should see 200 records here. Now in this list, there are some values of the last name that have the same department ID and some that have different department ID values. There is an easy way to check this, which we'll get into in a later lesson. But for now, if we want to see the unique records, we put in the word distinct. If we scroll down to the bottom, you can see that there are 189 records, which means that some duplicate records have been removed. And this is what distinct does. It finds the results of your query and then removes duplicate rows. You might find in this list that there are duplicate values for the last name column. This is okay because the department IDs would be different. That also means that the complete row is different, which means it hasn't been eliminated. So that's how you use distinct. It's very handy to find different values in a column, especially if you want to see what kind of data a column contains. If you want to know how many of each different value are in a column, you'll need to use a function. I'll show you how to do that in a later lesson. In the next section, we'll look at more operators that you can use in SQL.